A lot of QBs were in preseason action over the past few days, and I'm going to grade them all.
Yeah, I don't wanna roll. Yeah, I don't wanna strap. Yeah, baby, hit me up. Yeah, baby, hit me back. Yeah.
So specifically, I kind of want to dive into the younger quarterbacks. I'm not going to give Patrick Mahomes a grade for his preseason performance. If you're making hundreds of millions of guaranteed money, it's pretty much a guarantee that you're going to be dominating in preseason. Well, at least for most guys. So that being said, I'm just going to go through more of the popular younger guys or younger players that are playing for something more. So all of the rookies and then some of the second and third year guys. And just to quickly go over my perspective on everything, I did grade quarterbacks with more experience a little harder. And then the rookies I kind of graded on a curve because it is their first NFL action. So a lot of things went into account. Also, their supporting cast had all kinds of drops and whatnot. I tried to take that into account the best I could. And this is just going to be in a random order. But we'll start off with Carolina Panther QB Matt Corral, who had a rough debut to say the least. I was pretty worried about Corral's transition to the league because his system at Ole Miss was very basic, so he was going to need a lot of time. And I was also convinced that whoever the Panthers drafted would pretty much bust because that franchise is just a mess right now. So Corral was kind of thrown into the fire. He only had one completion. He was 1 for 9, even though he played the whole fourth quarter. And yeah, the O-line was bad, and yeah, there were drops, but he also just looked lost and uncomfortable. He just doesn't look close to being ready to compete at this level. But I guess his silver lining is he got the game-winning drive. He went over 4 on the drive, but still counts as a game-winning drive on the stat sheet. Unfortunately, I got to give him an F for this one. One of the worst performances of the preseason, but again, he's in a dreadful situation. I kind of feel for him. We'll see how he progresses. Next, we have Jordan Love, and he had an up and down game. We did see him make some nice throws, like the slot fade on 4th down, but you'd also see him just airmail easy passes, and then everything sort of fell apart in the second quarter. He had 3 picks. First one here, not his fault, just bounces off the receiver's hands. That'll happen. Second one, kind of just bad luck, but this ball is behind, and it allows the defender to take it away from the receiver, but not the worst thing. This third one, though, is just bad, easy throw, and he's just high and behind. You can tell his confidence was a bit shook after these, but he did finish off his debut with a nice TD pass. But overall, I'm tired of people babying Jordan Love. This is his 3rd season, learning under Aaron Rodgers, and he throws 3 picks in the first half of a preseason game. There's really no excuse for that. I'm going to give him a C- for this. He needs to be a lot better at this point in his career. Accuracy is still an issue. Decision-making is still an issue. This stuff will only get amplified playing against ones. If I'm a Packers fan, I'm honestly taking a long look at some of the QBs coming out in 2023. Next, we have Malik Willis, who started for the Titans, and he did take some time to settle in some wild throws early on for sure. But once he did, he was fairly solid. He had a nice rushing TD, a decent deep ball, so pretty much everything you'd want to see from him. It's clear he is still very raw, which shouldn't be a surprise to anybody, and I do have some concerns about his traits. He scores on this play here, but I don't think he's overly explosive or elusive. I mean, he still scores. I'm not going to knock him for it, but I'm just worried he won't look as elusive against NFL starters as a lot of people think he will. And then also on this deep ball, very solid, good throw. It's obviously a completion, but the DB might have made a play on it if he didn't run the complete opposite direction. This guy will probably be selling insurance in a few weeks, so not sure this would have been a completion, but again, I'm not knocking him for this. It was a completion. And for an NFL debut, there are plenty of good signs. This was his best throw of the day, though. Really shows off his arm strength and just overall arm talent potential. A solid debut from Malik. I give him a B for this performance. A lot to like. Moving to the Commanders QB, Sam Howell, another rookie. He played opposite Matt Corral this game, and he looked significantly more comfortable than Corral did, flashed his arm talent and mobility, led 2 touchdown drives, finished both with rushing touchdowns, looked strong out there, mostly accurate. Most of the criticism I had was him forcing balls, which in preseason I'm honestly perfectly fine with. Some slight accuracy issues, but for the most part I found myself having to be pretty picky to find things I didn't like about him and his performance. So I'm going to give Hal an A- for this. I thought he was the best rookie quarterback of the weekend. Next, we got Zach Wilson, and just rough day for Zach for sure. He had the ACL injury scare that luckily looks to be a lot less severe than the initial reports said, so that's good for Zach. Bad news is his performance was just really not good. We saw the arm talent last year, but the reason he graded out as the worst quarterback in football was he couldn't make layup throws or show any sort of consistent accuracy, and his first pass right off the gate was an easy layup throw that he just airmailed. Then a few plays later, he stared down a hitch and didn't see the linebacker lurking and threw a really bad pick. This just looked like the same as rookie Zach, and even rookie Zach dominated in preseason, so really not a good showing. He didn't really get a chance to settle in because of the injury, so maybe you can chalk it up to some first game nerves, but yeah, just not a good performance from the second-year quarterback. He gets an F for this. Lance is next. He didn't play a ton, and that's because, he was solid, so Shanahan rewarded him by sitting him early. Nothing much in this game for me to criticize, but also didn't see much to change my mind on him. I still think he might struggle a little bit against ones, but he should be able to put up some solid numbers in this Shanahan scheme. I think he'll have to run a lot to be successful, though. I haven't really seen enough yet to think he'll be an effective drop-back passer this year, at least consistently. This is a beautiful ball, though. Receiver is open, but he made a good enough throw. Definitely not going to knock him for this performance, but since I didn't see anything special, I'm going to give him an A-. Next is Bailey Zappi, Patriots quarterback, and he made some good plays. Also had some rookie moments. It is pretty clear his arm is limited, but he's a smart player, mostly accurate. Decision making was good and bad, but he made some nice back shoulder throws. Definitely seems like he understands the game. You get the feeling he could be a Case Keenum type guy, just a really reliable backup that you feel like can still give you a chance to win. I'm going to give him a B- for his performance. Next, we got Trace McSorley. No analysis needed here. He is an automatic A+. Trace is the GOAT. He can do no wrong. Next, we got Desmond Ritter, another rookie, and he looked pretty mobile and athletic, and the arm strength looked good. And overall, he threw pretty well on the run. I think he really fit in well athletically, and he also had some heartbreaking drops that could have made his performance even better. Now, the accuracy issues did show up at random times, which was one of his big knocks coming out. He really needs to clean up his footwork and be more consistent, but we knew that going in, so that's going to take time. And also, he had the game-winning TD on 4th and 9, so even though these games don't count, you'd love to see that from your rookie. I'd be pretty encouraged if I was a Falcons fan. Ritter gets a B from me. Trevor Lawrence is next, and it's clear Dougie P is going to have a good effect on him, in my opinion. Just making reads simpler and scheming up easier yards, like this touchdown pass. The talent is obvious every time you see Trevor play. Only issue I have with him and had with him last year was his processing is slow, and it still seems slow. Again, it didn't really affect him in this game because the talent level isn't the same, but it did affect him last year. So we'll need to see his processing speed up. Maybe it can, maybe not. We'll see. I still think he'll take a jump this year with better coaching. Trevor gets a B from me. Next, we go to Kenny Pickett, and really solid debut from Kenny. Only threw 2 incompletions the whole game, and he played a good amount. The crowd was electric, too. They definitely want the hometown kid to succeed very badly. Now, the offense was very simplified. There were a lot of short routes. Kenny really did not push the ball down the field much, but he was accurate, made the right plays consistently. Mobility looked decent. Arm looked good enough. I'd say still question marks about those when he's playing against NFL starters. I don't think he put any of that to rest, and it is a little concerning he's still 3rd on the depth chart, given he's an older rookie, but this was a solid game. I'll give him a B+ for this game. Didn't really push the ball down the field enough to be graded higher than that, in my opinion, but he did what he had to do, got the win. No really bad rookie mistakes, which is kind of his MO. Next, we'll go to Justin Fields, and he had an okay performance. I feel like he's in a very similar boat to Trevor Lawrence right now, where the talent is pretty obvious, but he's still having trouble processing the game. But you can tell he's really, really trying to kind of work through his progression, see what the defense is giving him. He's just not quite there yet. Again, that's okay. And he might be in a situation where, honestly, we're just not going to know if he's good or bad until his 3rd year, because outside of Mooney, he's got pretty much no talent on the outside. His O-line's going to be bad again. Coaching is still a question mark, even though it's definitely good he got rid of Nagy. So we'll see. Nothing really impressed me that much, but he did make some solid plays. Definitely flashed the potential. So Fields got a B- for me for this. And then finally, we'll finish it off with Jalen Hurts, and Hurts just killed it. He's my only A+ other than Trace the GOAT. He was perfect, 5 for 5, led an opening TD drive with ease, showed the mobility, showed the accuracy, good decision making, did well throwing on the run. The weapons Philly has were overwhelming. Hurts looked like a veteran QB out there in preseason, coming in, leading an easy TD drive, and then sitting the rest of the game. That's what the veteran quarterbacks that have been consistent starters in the league, that's what they do. So great stuff from Hurts. The sky really is the limit for this Eagles team. So that's it for my grades for the young guys, and here's a quick picture of the grades in order, just in case you're curious of kind of how they ranked. Again, it is graded on a curve based on their year, but there's a list of them. And make sure to like this video, comment below if you disagree. Also, if you consider subscribing, that will help me out a ton. Plenty more content to come as we're rapidly approaching the season. I'll catch you guys later.